Welcome to the Fishbowl. I'm Jade, and first and foremost, thank you for giving me your time because time is one thing people can never get back. And the fact that you chose to spend a piece of yours here with me tonight truly means something. So before we begin, go ahead and put on your scuba gear because here at the Fishbowl, we do not stay on the surface. We dive deep into the conversations people think about quietly but rarely slow down long enough to truly understand. And tonight's conversation is called Let It Simmer. And the inspiration for tonight came from something so simple, but so powerful. I was watching This Is It, the documentary about the king of pop and Michael Jackson. And during rehearsal, the music started playing a little too quickly for his liking. And he stopped everything and calmly said, "No, no, let it simmer." And something about that stayed with me because he was not just talking about music. He was talking about timing, rhythm, patience, and allowing something to settle into its natural flow instead of forcing it too quickly. And honestly, that may be one of the biggest problems in today's world. People rush everything and then wonder why so many things feel emotionally undercooked. We rush conversations, rush relationships, rush healing, rush reactions, rush decisions, rush success. And socially, we now live in a culture addicted to immediacy, fast food, fast opinions, fast responses, instant gratification. Everybody wants quick answers, quick validation, quick healing, quick love, and quick results. But psychologically, human beings are not designed to emotionally process life at the speed social media expects us to. And maybe that is why so many people feel emotionally exhausted because nobody is allowing anything to simmer anymore. Nobody is allowing emotions, situations, relationships, or even themselves enough time to fully develop before reacting impulsively. And let's start with arguments, because sometimes the worst thing a person can do is respond while emotions are still boiling. Some conversations do not need immediate responses. Some disagreements need space, reflection, and emotional cooling before anything productive can happen. Because emotionally intelligent people understand that not every feeling needs instant expression. Sometimes silence prevents destruction. Sometimes pausing saves relationships. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away, breathe, calm your nervous system, and return later with clarity instead of reacting from temporary anger. Because words spoken in emotional heat can leave scars long after the argument itself is over. And honestly, sometimes emotions themselves need time before we even understand what we are truly feeling. Because sometimes what looks like anger is actually hurt. Sometimes frustration is exhaustion, sometimes jealousy is insecurity, and sometimes loneliness is grief. But people often react before fully understanding their own emotional state. And that is dangerous because emotionally, not every feeling reveals itself immediately. Some emotions need time to settle before clarity appears. And maybe that is why so many people damage relationships, friendships, and opportunities by reacting too quickly instead of allowing their emotions to simmer long enough for wisdom to enter the room. And this applies to parenting too, because sometimes parents react quickly out of stress, fear, frustration, exhaustion, or survival mode without slowing down long enough to understand what their child may actually be experiencing emotionally. Sometimes children need guidance instead of immediate punishment, conversation instead of emotional shutdown, patience instead of projection, because children absorb emotional environments deeply, and many adults today are still healing from reactions they experienced growing up that were rooted more in pressure than understanding. And maybe some parents were not bad people. Maybe they were simply overwhelmed people who never had the opportunity to simmer emotionally themselves. And relationships may be where simmering matters most, because sometimes people rush into connections simply because they are lonely, emotionally vulnerable, or afraid of being alone. They rush intimacy, rush emotional attachment, rush titles, rush saying, "I love you," rush moving in together before trust has even had time to fully develop, and later realize they fell in love with chemistry, fantasy, convenience, or potential instead of genuinely understanding the person standing in front of them. Because real connection takes time, trust takes time, emotional safety takes time, and many people could avoid heartbreak if they simply allowed relationships to simmer long enough for patterns to naturally reveal themselves. And psychologically, many people struggle with waiting because waiting forces people to sit with uncertainty, and uncertainty makes people uncomfortable because we want answers, reassurance, guarantees, and immediate clarity. But some of life's greatest lessons happen during the simmering season, the in between season, the uncomfortable pause where nothing seems to be moving quickly, but everything is quietly developing underneath the surface. Because simmering is not stagnation, it is preparation. It is growth happening slowly enough for people to emotionally handle what they are praying for. And maybe that applies to healing more than anything else. Because healing is not microwave work, it is slow work, layered work, emotional work. And sometimes people become frustrated with themselves because they are not healed fast enough, not okay fast enough, not over it fast enough, but emotionally grief, betrayal, disappointment, heartbreak, anxiety, and trauma all move at their own pace, and forcing yourself to heal performatively for the comfort of other people only creates emotional suppression. Sometimes you have to let yourself simmer emotionally, sit with yourself, cry, reflect, rest, process, and allow your nervous system time to catch up with what your heart and mind have experienced. And socially, people celebrate productivity, but they rarely respect emotional recovery. And that pressure causes many people to pretend they are okay long before they actually are. And then we carry that same rushing energy into careers, finances, and success. People compare timelines constantly now because social media has people feeling behind in life by 30. Somebody bought a house, somebody got married, somebody became successful, somebody went viral, somebody started a business, and now people feel pressured to force outcomes before they are emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or financially prepared to handle them. And financially, some people rush purchases, rush investments, rush opportunities, rush lifestyles, and later realize they made emotional decisions instead of wise ones. Because every opportunity does not require immediate movement. And some people are so afraid of missing out that they rush into situations that later disturb their peace. But honestly, not every delay in life is punishment. Some delays are protection, some pauses are preparation, some unanswered prayers are redirection. Because success reached too early without emotional readiness can destroy people just as quickly as failure can. And spiritually, life itself has rhythm. Nature has seasons. The ocean has tides. Music has tempo. And food has cooking time. And maybe human beings were never meant to force every single thing instantly because some blessings lose their depth when rushed. And maybe tonight's real lesson is understanding that simmering is not quitting, it is intentional patience. There is a difference between resting and giving up. Resting restores you. Resting allows clarity. Resting allows wisdom to develop. But quitting happens when people abandon themselves because discomfort convinced them nothing was happening. And maybe some people listening tonight are in a simmering season right now, a season where life feels slower than expected, where answers are delayed, where healing feels gradual, where relationships are uncertain, where opportunities are unfolding quietly instead of dramatically, and maybe instead of panicking, forcing, reacting, chasing, or trying to control every outcome. Life is asking you to trust the process long enough for things to fully develop. Because just like a meal slowly simmering on the stove, sometimes the richest flavor comes from patience. And maybe we all need to stop forcing every chapter of our lives. Stop reacting to every emotion immediately. Stop rushing every relationship, every decision, every opportunity, and every version of ourselves before it is ready, and simply let it simmer. This has been The Fishbowl with Jade. Thank you for diving deep with me tonight. And remember, stay classy, stay curious, and stay ever evolving. Everywhere podcasts can be listened to now, The Fishbowl with Jade can be streamed on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Good Pods, and Audible.